My name is Shadi Martini. I'm originally from Syria. I was born in Syria, and I was running a hospital, my family hospital in Aleppo, Syria. And then the Arab Spring started, and some of the demonstrations started in Syria. And I was a person who helped people who are getting wounded or beaten to get treatment. That put me in odd with my government, and I had to flee my home. And I got involved in the humanitarian work. It became a passion of mine. I wasn't humanitarian by trade. I was a businessman, entrepreneur, but somehow the conflict made me go into this field. And in 2014, I met a lady who was just founded an organization, and she's a child of Holocaust survivors. And she thought that there was no Jewish response to what's happening in Syria. And she thought that her faith doesn't allow her not to react. So I was astonished by this, because growing up in Syria, it wasn't a very good relationship between Syrians, Muslim, Christians, and Jews. So it was something new for me. And I started working with the organization called Multifaith Alliance. And we grew up from an organization that advocated for refugee rights and stuff like this to implement humanitarian work across the Middle East. Specifically, we started in Syria, then we went to Iraq, Turkey, Lebanon. Now we work extensively in Gaza and the West Bank, and also Ukraine and Guatemala. I grew up from a generation that didn't have internet, didn't have access to a lot of diversity of book material. So it was a personal journey for me to understand, but in the Middle East, the other side was considered like Israel. And so I went and started to learn as much as possible, because I believe that learning each other's background, history, religion, social fabric makes us much easier to resolve conflicts. If we don't know each other, it's very hard to resolve these conflicts. So that was part of my personal journey and the thing that I love to do right now. One of the most important things I think that Aurora is doing is bringing people from different backgrounds together. That's very important, because as much as we think that we know a lot of people in the humanitarian work, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of amazing experiences. There are a lot of amazing stories that we hear that inspire us to do things in a different way. We can help each other, do better work. I always tend to look at the lives that we changed and we touched. And I see a lot of positive things. So many of the people that I work with, a lot of them became volunteers themselves. They wanted to give back to their communities, their people who are in need, other communities they had nothing to do with them, and it's very inspiring. And I think that's what we need to keep going on. When someone recognizes you, someone tells you, it gives you this ability to feel motivated more. Even though I know a lot of humanitarians are very humble and they don't want to just focus. But I think recognizing people and recognizing the good that they have done is very, very powerful and very important. Because it's tough on a lot of people and on their personal life. So I really appreciate this thing. It really feels nice, and it's really encourage a person to do more. Our passion is to bring people from different backgrounds that traditionally don't work together to help communities that sometimes don't relate to them. And I think that's the message we need to give the humanity and the whole world, that we can all work together regardless of our background.